Hey guys, it's the Cryptic Cinema here, and today I'm going to be showing my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection, 2018. So I'm going to be showing my entire collection, starting with the horror genre. With the horror genre, I have actually incorporated both Blu-rays and DVDs, just because I want all of that genre together. But I do actually have a separate shelf for the Blu-rays especially. And I do also have some Arrow horror movies down there, which I will be showing at the end also. So honestly, it is kind of a mess at the moment. I do have a random shit to be watched slash shit that can't fit on the shelf pile, and I will be showing that also. And honestly, I do just have a load of rubbish just in drawers and everything, which I'll try to fit in at some point. But I guess the main task for now is just to get through everything that's on the shelf. Okay, so starting with the horror shelves, we have 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Then we have a movie called 1408 starring Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry if the glare's pretty bad, I think it'll get better as we move down, but it's just because it's so close to the light. The Abominable Snowman, this is a really great Hammer film, definitely would recommend this one. American Psycho, I also own that one on Blu-ray. The Amityville horror films, I've got 1, 2 and 3. Amsterdam, this is a really great slasher movie set in Amsterdam, and I just love the idea of a deep-sea diver sort of terrorising Amsterdam. And there's a really great canal chase scene I would definitely recommend. April Fool's Day, that's a really great movie with a really cool twist at the end. Up here we have a movie called Anthropophagus. Next we have Army of the Dead. I really don't know why I own shit like this. I think a clear out is much needed, because I really don't think I'm going to sit down and watch that film again. Next up we have Axe, which is one of the video nasties that were banned in the UK. During the 70s. The Bat, starring Vincent Price, is actually a remake of a 1926 film, also titled The Bat, and that was one of the original inspirations for Batman. Next we have the Bela Lugosi collection. This is one of the best Bela Lugosi collections out there. This is Region 1, and it includes all of the great Bela Lugosi films such as Murders in the Rue Morgue, Black Cat, Bird with the Crystal Plumage. I'm a big fan of these cheaper Arrow releases because, I don't know, Arrow releases are pretty, especially the triple pack Blu-rays are pretty extortionate, and I definitely wouldn't really recommend them unless you're a huge fan of the films. But yeah, Black Christmas, Black Sheep, Blair Witch Project. I did used to own Blair Witch Project 2, however I'm not really a big fan of the first Blair Witch Project, so I just kind of got rid of it. Bram Stoker's Dracula, really great adaptation by Francis Ford Coppola. Contains some really great scenes. Bear, this is a really shitty Bear movie. There is a better one that I can just show you now, Grizzly. This was from 1977, and I would definitely recommend this one over any other Bear movies out there. This one is really low budget trash, but I just have an obsession with Killer Bear movies. I think they're amazing. I am a really big fan of sort of when nature goes wrong type of horror movie. So yeah, you will see a lot of those in this collection. Next we have Bubba Hotep, Cabin in the Woods, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, really beautiful horror movie. If you're going to get this movie, I definitely recommend the Kino release. And yeah, it's just a really great movie. I did initially make a review of this, however I wasn't really satisfied with it, but I definitely do need to put that one up. Candyman, Cannibal Holocaust. This is a really great movie, The Car. This is sort of like Maximum Overdrive, but just more of a horror aspect to it, I guess. Also, it's kind of like Christine, if you've ever seen that. Carrie, I really wish I'd have purchased a different cover, because I really do hate the Region 2 cover. I still need to check the remake to Carrie, by the way. Cat People starring Malcolm McDowell, great movie. The Changeling. Cheerleader Massacre. And then you've got 2 of the Child's Play movies. I do actually enjoy Child's Play 3, I just have never got around to picking it up on DVD. The Church, this is actually one of my all-time favourite horror movies, The Church. Really great movie. I do really need to do a review of this, but I definitely highly recommend this film. Cloverfield, arguably that should be in the sci-fi section. Creepshow, I don't own Creepshow 2, but I definitely do need to purchase that one. Critters, really great 80s creature features. For those of you Leonardo DiCaprio fans out there, I would definitely check out Critters 3 for a early DiCaprio movie, I guess. Okay, next we have The Curse of Frankenstein, Warhammer. Dead and Buried, this is a really great 80s horror movie, I definitely would recommend that one. I have actually also done a review of that one if you want to check that out. Dead Snow. Deadly Spawn, I wasn't really impressed with the transfer that Arrow did for the Deadly Spawn. I definitely think there are better releases out there. Deep Blue Sea. Deep Red, this is a great movie starring David Hemmings. For those of you that want to see another great film starring David Hemmings, I would definitely recommend Blow Up, where he plays a photographer that captures these images when he's out in the park one time, and upon reflection he starts to notice something a little strange about them. But yeah, I definitely think this is a great chilling movie starring David Hemmings, for those of you who was a fan of his acting in Deep Red anyway. Death by Temptation, this was something random that I picked up from HorrorCon. This is just kind of like Samuel L. Jackson exploitation movie. Demons, The Descent, Devil's Rejects, definitely one of the goriest movies in my collection. Dog Soldiers, Dolls, great 80s movie. Don't Go in the House, definitely a Psycho ripoff, but the character in this is definitely more sadistic and brutal than Norman Bates, so I would definitely check that one out. This is definitely one of the better Dracula film adaptations in my opinion. Duel, definitely a very underrated Steven Spielberg movie. From Dusk Till Dawn, I refuse to watch any of the sequels, however I definitely recommend the TV series. That was a really great surprise for me. I thought it was going to be complete rubbish, but I definitely do recommend that one. Then you've got all of the Evil Dead films. I won't talk too much about those, as I plan on doing separate reviews for those in the future. The Exorcist, great French horror movie, Eyes Without a Face, and a great release by BFI as well. Then we have The Fly, the 80s Fly. I definitely need to get my hands on the 50s Fly with Vincent Price, as I believe that's the better of the two. The Fog on Blu-ray. Todd Browning's Freaks. And then we have all of the Friday the 13th movies. I won't go into detail about those. Fright Night and Fright Night the Remake. Definitely do need to get my hands on Fright Night Part 2, however it is very elusive, and I just hope that some film company releases that one in the future. Okay, moving on to the second horror shelf. First we have Ginger Snaps. This is a really amazing film. I've also done a review on this one, so I won't go into too much detail about it. The Gorgon, another great Hammer film. Then we have Gremlins 1 and 2. Grindhouse, double feature. And then we have all of the Halloween movies, including the Rob Zombie remake and sequel and the documentary. Here we have The Haunting, otherwise known as Terror. And this is a really, really shitty movie. It was completely rushed and it's just a complete disaster of a movie. The Hills Have Eyes, not really a big fan of The Hills Have Eyes. House on the Edge of the Park. I definitely recommend this to anyone who's a fan of Last House on the Left and Night Train Murders. House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. House of Wax with Vincent Price, definitely a great film from the 50s, I believe. House of a Thousand Corpses. If anybody's seen House of a Thousand Corpses, it's not the best Rob Zombie film ever made. It's just basically a Rob Zombie music video. Horror of Dracula. The Howling. Howling Part 2, one of the worst sequels ever made in my opinion, with Christopher Lee. Then you've got Howling 3, 4 and 6. I can't find 5, and to my understanding it's pretty rare on Region 2. So I probably won't actually ever get around to owning 5, but there you go. I Know What You Did Last Summer movies, they're just basically 2 of those. I'm not owning any more than that. I Spit on Your Grave. Inferno. I'm a really big fan of these old white box editions that Arrow used to put out. Really great film as well. The Innocents. Intruder, definitely not one of my favourite slasher movies ever made, and Bruce Campbell is in this for about 5 minutes. Island of Death, definitely a great watch, and I love the music in this one. Desperation, Understanding.
Desperation, understanding, destination is impending. Desperation, understanding, destination is impending. Get the sword, get the sword, get the sword.
Pretty funny music in that one. Jack Frost. And then you've got all the Jaws movies. I'm not going to go into detail with those. I have done a review of the first Jaws movie if you want to check that one out. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde double pack. One stars Frederick March and the other stars Spencer Tracy. Definitely prefer the Frederick March version from 1932. It's just got more of a classic feel to it. And I'm much more of a fan of the makeup for Mr. Hyde. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Last Cannibal World, otherwise known as Jungle Holocaust. I definitely would recommend this if you're a fan of Cannibal Holocaust or any cannibal movies. Last House on the Left. The Leprechaun Collector's Box, the only one this doesn't include is the last film. Link, great killer monkey movie. Lizard in a Woman's Skin. Lords of Salem. The Lost Boys. Macabre. Magic. Maniac. Maniac Cop. Martin, one of my all-time favourite vampire movies, if not my all-time favourite vampire movie. Maximum Overdrive. Midnight. Monkey Shines. My Bloody Valentine and My Bloody Valentine 3D. Near Dark, this is also a really good vampire movie. It's very much like Lost Boys in my opinion. The New York Ripper, one of my favourite Fulci movies. Then you've got the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Night of the Bloody Apes, this is a really bizarre movie. Night of the Living Dead Blu-ray, at the time it was, this one was the best transfer. Then you've got all of the Dead movies. I'm not going to go into too much detail with these as pretty much every horror fan knows about them, but Day of the Dead's my favourite of the Dead movie. And then you've got the Tom Savini movie and the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Then you've got this Land of the Dead Blu-ray. It comes with limited edition art cards. The Kino release for one of the most amazing silent movies of all time, Nosferatu. Nosferatu. But yeah, I definitely would recommend a lot of Kino releases because they're just really the best releases out there, really. The Omen. The People Under the Stairs. Then we have the third shelf. First up we have the Phantom of the Opera. This is a really shitty edition of Phantom of the Opera. To my understanding you can get a better one by Eureka. Just try and avoid this company at all costs. Pet Sematary, Stephen King's Pet Sematary. I definitely prefer the novel, and it's one of the only Stephen King novels I've ever read, to be honest. Phantom of Death. Pieces, love this cover art right here. The Pit and the Pendulum. Possession, great psychological horror film starring Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. The actress is also really great in that. Poltergeist, I refuse to watch the Poltergeist remake. Prom Night 1 and 2. Puppet Master, Pumpkinhead. The Raven, Reanimator, The Return of the Living Dead, and The Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Return of the Living Dead Part 3, really rubbish movie. Most people like this one, but I just didn't really get along with it. The original Japanese Ring, and then right next to it we have the American remake and the sequel to the American remake. Shitty Roger Corman set. I'm pretty sure there's better Roger Corman sets out there, but this one is just basically a driving collection featuring horror, creature features, and I guess everything else that he made. Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Killer, otherwise known as The Prowler. Definitely my favourite slasher movie, hands down. Salem's Lot, the Scream movies, including the fourth on Blu-ray. The Shining, all the Hannibal Lecter movies. I didn't really need to go into much detail with those, as I'm pretty sure you all know those movies. Slaughter High, Stage Fright, Street Trash, Suspiria. This is a great edition of Suspiria, and I don't really need to upgrade it anytime soon. Tenebrae, Terror at the Opera, otherwise known as Opera. I love the fact I've got 3 Argento classics all together because they're so alphabetically coordinated. Then you've got all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. If I had to pick a favourite, I would probably say the third one is my favourite, with Ken Foree. I've just always loved Ken Foree as an actor. I used to watch him in the Keenan and Kel show growing up. Theatre of Blood, really interesting Vincent Price movie. They Live. The Thing, the 80s Thing, and then you've got the prequel. Toolbox Murders. Tourist Trap. A lot of people have been wanting a remake of Tourist Trap, but I honestly do not know if that's ever going to happen. The Town That's Dreaded Sundown, Trick or Treat, Troll and Troll 2, Two Evil Eyes, and then you've got all of the Universal films. And I just like to keep all of these together because they are pretty much all one series as far as I'm concerned. You've got the Dracula series, the Frankenstein series, the Wolfman series, the Mummy series, the Creature from the Black Lagoon series, my favourite, the Invisible Man series. But yeah, it's pretty much all a mess. I own the majority of them on different releases, and this one also contains the Spanish version. Urban Legend, Vampire, great Danish horror movie. Van Helsing, Videodrome, Welcome to Spring Break, otherwise known as Nightmare Beach, The Woman in Black, The Wolfman remake, 2009 I believe, Wolf with Jack Nicholson, and my signed zombie flesh eaters, Arrow release signed by Ian McCulloch. Okay, so next is all of my sci-fi movies, and it just cuts off from the action and adventure movies, even though you could arguably consider Ray Harryhausen as sci-fi also. But yeah, pretty much you've got all of the Star Wars movies, the originals and the prequels. The Matrix. This was sent to me by DVD Review Studios many years ago. RoboCop trilogy, AVP 1 and 2, Predator 1 and 2, Sanctum, Super 8, the Terminator trilogy, Minority Report. Then you've got this bizarre Brazilian Star Wars bootleg, which is something I picked up from HorrorCon. Mars Attacks, Flash Gordon. The original Flash Gordon film serials is what George Lucas used for inspiration for the Star Wars movies. Escape from New York. Them, great movie about giant killer ants. Life Force. The Day the Earth Stood Still, my all-time favourite sci-fi movie. Tarantula. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Thing. This is my favourite The Thing movie. I just prefer it over the 80s The Thing. War of the Worlds and the shitter version with Tom Cruise. Then you've got all of the original Twilight Zone series on DVD, and up here you have the Arrow's edition of Incredible Shrinking Man. Finally, to conclude the sci-fi section, we have the Ed Wood box set, arguably one of the worst filmmakers of all time, and then you have the Tim Burton Ed Wood movie. Okay, moving on to the drama section now. This is kind of a miscellaneous section. I've kind of just got a random bunch of movies in here, just because drama can be associated with a lot of other films. You can have comedy drama, wartime drama, courtroom drama. So it's pretty much a miscellaneous section. I've got a few Western movies here. So this is like a Western movie set. It's got a few classic Westerns in here, such as Once Upon a Time in the West and True Grit. And then we also have the True Grit remake. Then we have a Clint Eastwood collection. Okay, just got a few up the top here. We've got Grudge Match with Stallone and De Niro. And then up here we've got Cinema Paradiso, which is an absolutely incredible film. I would definitely recommend that. Okay, and then we have Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, Shutter Island, Raging Bull, Ronin, Mean Streets, Rescue Dawn. This is one of my favourite Christian Bale performances. Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. Quite a few Russell Crowe films here. LA Confidential, Master and Commander, State of Play, The Next 3 Days, American Gangster, If, Oh Lucky Man. I still need to get Britannia Hospital, but I really do have a hard time finding that for a cheap price. Raging Moon, Aces High, great wartime movie with Malcolm McDowell, The Oceans Trilogy, The Wrestler, The Long Good Friday, Sea of Love with Al Pacino, A Few Good Men. This is a classic movie. Enemy. I once wrote a philosophical essay about Enemy, and it's a really interesting movie, that one. Wall Street, Lincoln starring Daniel Day-Lewis, J. Edgar, The Bucket List, great movie, Castaway with Tom Hanks, Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and DiCaprio, St. Elmo's Fire. This is a really amazing film starring most of the cast from The Breakfast Club, The Colour of Money, Rain Man, Romeo and Juliet, Lost in Translation, absolutely incredible movie starring Bill Murray, really emotional watch in my opinion. The Way Back, Miracle on 34th Street, the original and then the remake. It's a Wonderful Life also contains some exclusive art cards in that one. Holiday Inn, Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, the Godfather trilogy. Then we move into the big time filmmakers, so I've got a specific section for Alfred Hitchcock and a specific section for my all-time favourite director, Stanley Kubrick. So to start the Hitchcock section, we have just a set with 4 of his films in. So this one contains Rebecca, Notorious, Spellbound and The Paradigm Case. Really great set, and then next to that we have a collection of all of his early films. And then another collection here that's just got most of his essential movies in there. I do also own some of his essential movies on the Blu-Ray box set. And here we have Stanley Kubrick. So his first movie he ever made was Fear and Desire. This also contains 3 of his shorts, The Day of the Fight, The Flying Padre, and The Seafarers. Killer's Kiss, The Killing, Paths of Glory, Spartacus, Lolita, Dr. Strangelove, Barry Lyndon, which is probably my second favourite Kubrick movie. It's a tie between Barry Lyndon and Clockwork Orange, and here is the set with all of his major movies in there. Okay, moving on to the next section, we have action and adventure. It's just pretty much a random mess. There's no specific order to it at all. But here we have Cross of Iron, which is arguably to finish off the drama section. Perfect Storm, Troy, The Last Samurai, Valkyrie, The Pianist, The Desert Fox and the Desert Rats double pack, Armageddon, Collateral, The Fighter, Snakes on a Plane, Connor, The Town, Phone Booth, Drive Angry, Drive, Only God Forgives, The Guest, Under Siege, The Grey. I really did enjoy this movie with Liam Neeson. Taken, Body of Lies, great movie with DiCaprio. Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, The Spirit. Then you've got the Sin City films and just a few other things by Rodriguez, including Machete and Machete Kills. There is supposed to be a third Machete movie, which has been in production for quite some time now, and I'm just kind of waiting when that will be released. But the following few films are a mixture between canon films and just random 80s films, really. So we have the Lethal Weapon trilogy, and then here we have Big Trouble in Little China, The Warriors, Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone, Death Wish, Cobra, Over the Top, Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, Last Action Hero, The Expendables, and then we have a few Chuck Norris movies. So we have this set with Missing in Action, Code of Silence, and Lone Wolf McQuade. Missing in Action 2, Invasion USA, Silent Rage, The Octagon, Delta Force 1 and 2. Then I have just a small martial arts section. So a few Bruce Lee films first. So we have The Big Boss, this double pack with Fist of Fury and New Fist of Fury with Jackie Chan, Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, Game of Death, Dragon Lord, Police Story and Police Story 2, and then here I have Drunken Master, the Masters of Cinema edition, Rumble in the Bronx, New Police Story, The Story of Ricky, which is probably the goriest film in my collection, The Karate Kid trilogy, love these films. Then I have the Batman 60s television series, which, to be honest, should be in the television section. I just like to keep all of my Batman related things together, kind of. And then the 66 movie, a pack containing all of the films, all of the Tim Burton films, and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Filipino Batman, which is yet again one of those weird releases, bootlegs that I got from HorrorCon. The complete Superman collection, and to finish the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Okay, continuing with the action and adventure. So I have Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2 and 3. And then I have Prince of Persia, which, to be honest, I don't think this was too bad of a movie. I know a lot of people hated on this one. National Treasure 1 and 2. The Mummy trilogy steelbook. Then I have all of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, the first trilogy in a box set, and the fourth film on its own. The Great Escape. All of the Indiana Jones movies. The remastered original King Kong from 1933, and then I have it again on a Region 1 edition in this box set. That comes with Son of Kong and Mighty Joe Young. King Kong vs. Godzilla. King Kong Escapes, or King Kong vs. Mecha Kong. And then I have the Peter Jackson version there as well. And to finish the action and adventure section, I just have a few Ray Harryhausen movies. So, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Valley of Gwangi, and then I have the Sinbad trilogy on Blu-ray, Clash of the Titans, and this early years collection. This has got some really great shorts by Ray Harryhausen. Just to conclude the action and adventure shelves, I do keep all of my Lord of the Rings movies up here, just because I've just got so many of them, and it would honestly just take up too much space in the action and adventure section. So I have the original trilogy on DVD. Then here I have the animated movie. Then here is my Gollum Digibook. Then I have the entire trilogy on extended DVD. This one is like a DVD of the music behind Lord of the Rings. It's just an exclusive symphony on DVD. And then finally, I do also own the entire trilogy on extended Blu-ray. Further down I have a short comedy section, so starting off we have Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 21 and Over, 40-Year-Old Virgin, About Schmidt, Arachnophobia, All the Right Moves, Anger Management, As Good as It Gets, Bad Santa, probably my all-time favourite Christmas movie, Beetlejuice, Back to the Future, I don't know if it's a digipack, it's kind of like a 4-disc Ultimate Collection edition, Brewster's Millions and Uncle Buck, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Bowfinger, Blues Brothers, Bulletproof, The Burbs, this is a really great Tom Hanks movie, Big Daddy, Billy Madison, Caddyshack, Christmas Vacation, Chicago, Clockwise, great John Cleese movie, Cocktail, Coming to America, Cool Runnings, Crocodile Dundee and Crocodile Dundee the sequel, Deck the Halls, Mr. Deeds, Dirty Dancing, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Edward Scissorhands, Elf, Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can, Evolution, Jim Carrey Triple Pack, Fame, Fantastic Fear of Everything, the Father of the Bride films, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Going Overboard, Billy Bob Thornton's also in this as well, The Goonies, Grease, Groundhog Day, one of my all-time favourite comedy movies, Happy Gilmore, Hot Fuzz, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids triple pack, House Sitter, Hocus Pocus, this used to be one of my all-time favourites growing up. It's a mad, 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 mad world. It's complicated. The Jerk. Just Go With It, by the way, The Jerk's probably my favourite Steve Martin film. Little Shop of Horrors, the original and the musical version. The Longest Yard. The Man with Two Brains. Mouse Hunt. Mean Girls. And then I have the Naked Gun trilogy. Napoleon Dynamite. Oliver, one of my favourite musicals. Paul, Phantom of the Opera. Then I have this box set of all the old Pink Panther movies starring Peter Sellers. Planes, Trains and Automobiles, really amazing movie to watch around Christmas time. Return of Oz. Return to Oz, this used to freak me out when I was younger. Revenge of the Nerds and Revenge of the Nerds 2. Roxanne. Shaun of the Dead. Simple Twist of Fate. 16 Candles. Small Soldiers, another one of my all-time favourites growing up. Something's Gotta Give. Spanglish. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy. Three Amigos. Top Gun. Twins and War Games, which came out with it. Then I have the Wayne's World films. Okay, all the way at the top I have a short television section. Rick Gervais is probably my favourite comedian of all time. and well, that's probably joint with him and Stephen Merchant. But yeah, I have The Office and Extras on DVD, Life's Too Short and Life's Too Short the Special. Then I have the Derek series and all of his live DVDs. Then I have Stephen Merchant's live Hello Ladies and his Hello Ladies TV show. All of the Idiot Abroad and The Moaning of Life. And then next to it, just because I wanted to keep all of the Ricky Gervais together, I have Invention of Lying on DVD, Ghost Town, and Cemetery Junction. And then I also have a few more Ricky Gervais DVDs that just won't really fit on the shelf. So I have the David Brent movie, which to be honest I wasn't really too impressed with. And then I also have the Ricky Gervais show DVDs here. Then right here I have Crime and Punishment. Okay, so continuing with the television, I have Fawlty Towers. Really big fan of John Cleese. The Green Green Grass, which is kind of a spin-off series to Only Fools and Horses. The IT Crowd complete series, the In-Betweeners complete series, and the 2 movies. Then I have Monster Quest, the complete collection, I guess. Then also, I do have more Futurama, but I decided to just take them off the shelf to make more room. The Walking Dead, the complete series 1, 2, and 3. Then I have a Ray Harryhausen collection. This one contains 3 movies. I have the John Rambo German digibook, E.T., Gladiator, the extended edition, the James Bond collection. Okay, so finally I'm just going to show off the Blu-rays that I own. Here's one already, The Graduate. 310 to Yuma, 12 Years a Slave, The A-Team, Alice in Wonderland. Then I have the Alien Quadrilogy. Almost Famous, this is a really great movie, definitely would recommend that one. Amadeus, one of my all-time favourite movies. American Psycho, one of my all-time favourite movies. And Apocalypse Now. Batman Begins, Blood Diamond, Boogie Nights, Braveheart, The Breakfast Club. Moving on, I have Cape Fear, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain Phillips, Carlito's Way, Casino, Chinatown, Clockwork Orange, The Condemned, The Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Steelbook, The Deer Hunter, Deliverance, absolutely amazing film, The Departed, the Die Hard Quadrilogy, District 9, Django Unchained, Downfall. This is probably one of my all-time favourite movies, actually. It's such a great, intense movie, and I would just definitely recommend that one. The Elephant Man, Empire of the Sun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the Rambo movies, and the Man with No Name trilogy right next to that. Gangs of New York, Gangster Squad, Get Carter. This is probably joint with Clockwork Orange as my favourite movie of all time, Goodfellas. Great Gatsby, Grown Ups, God knows why I own that on Blu-ray. Heat, my Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece collection. Then I have all of the Hobbit movies on Blu-ray, so I have the 3D extended cut of the first film and the 2 others on Blu-ray. I don't really have the same treatment for the Hobbit films as I do my Lord of the Rings films, as Lord of the Rings was just a bigger part of me growing up. Of course, the Hobbit wasn't. But yeah, I just appreciate the Lord of the Rings films way more than I do the Hobbit films. The 2-disc edition of Gladiator, Inception, Inglourious Bastards, Intolerable Cruelty, Invaders from Mars, the IP Man 1 and 2. Then I have the Jurassic Park trilogy, Killer Inside Me, The Grand Buffet, haven't even opened or seen this yet, Last of the Mohicans, Les Miserables, Lock Up, Magnolia, The Master, New York, New York, North by Northwest, one of my favourite Hitchcock films of all time, Don't Torture a Duckling, Once Upon a Time in America, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Then I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Platoon, The Prestige, Psycho 2. Then I have a Tarantino box set with his essential films. The Railway Man, that was quite a pleasant surprise, to be honest. Ratatouille, my favourite Pixar movie. The Revenant, Risky Business, the Rocky collection on Blu-ray, Scarface, Schindler's List, Sherlock Holmes, and the second movie on Blu-ray Steelbook, Sleepers, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy on Blu-ray, Superman Returns, Taxi Driver, There Will Be Blood, the Titanic Blu-ray, Tombstone, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, this is a really great film, Mr. Turner, Unforgiven, Unknown, The Untouchables, V for Vendetta, The Wolf of Wall Street, The World's End, and The Wolverine. Okay, that was my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. This is about as organised as I can get at the moment. I can probably make it more organised with a bit of time, I guess. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more movie reviews.